earliest signs of hunters using sound to hunt may have just been discovered. The 1,200-year-old whistles were made of wing bones from Eurasian coot and teal. The study then made replicas manufactured from mallard bones to imitate the exact same sounds of these whistles. What they found was these whistles could have actually been made to imitate birds of prey. The researchers publishing their findings also included audio of what these whistles sound like, which I will include right now so you can hear the sound that they make. The whistles were found in North Israel and unearthed in 1998, but the purpose was not immediately obvious. One of the authors of the study, Dr. Devin, noticed marks on 7 small wing bones and soon realized these marks were actually tiny holes. The researchers then used modern CT imaging to identify additional characteristics of the whistles and eventually identified 6 fragments in 1 complete whistle. Quote from Dr. Devin, "One of the flutes was discovered complete. So far as it's known, it is the only one in the world in this current state of preservation. The complete whistle measures only 6 centimeters in length, roughly 2.3 inches, and 4 millimeters in width, which is less than 1/4 of an inch. It features finger holes designed to manipulate sound, and the authors of this study said that it's extremely difficult to play. It's unclear why the whistle makers decided to use small bones, considering they had larger bones available to them. But researchers speculate that the makers wanted to go after a very specific high-pitched sound, and that these bones were the only ones that could actually produce that. To determine how the whistles were used, the team fashioned replicas using wing bones from mallards, and when they compared the whistles and the sounds they created to 58 different bird species that would have been in that area, the Eurasian sparrowhawk calls were probably the actual sound that these people were trying to replicate. Why these hunter-gatherers would have wanted to imitate this exact bird is still up for debate, but there's several possibilities. One is that these whistles were used for hunting. Rather than trying to imitate the sounds of waterfowl as modern duck calls do, instead these whistles could have been used to scare the targets into the air. If the hunters were positioned near the flock, resulting confusion could have made the birds easier to catch. Another theory is that these whistles were used to actually call in and catch the sparrowhawks themselves. These birds had cultural as well as symbolic significance to the people in the area. The bird's talons were actually used for decoration and to pierce bones to produce the whistles. A related hypothesis is that these whistles were used in religious music and dance ceremonies. Researchers point to the sun dance performed by the North American Plains Indian tribes, which include bone whistles as well and imitate the sound of symbolic valued spotted eagles. These hunter-gatherers from this North Israel area and region may have used whistles in a similar manner. However, these whistles do signify a significant history of societal evolution. The study adds that this is a critical piece of evidence of acoustic phenomenon of sound manipulation from a cultural context. It then goes on to add that this is a significant change in humankind. The transition into complex agricultural societies and manipulating not only the landscape but the animals and their environment shows that this is a new emerging way of life. For me, this is really exciting. It's always exciting to see what our ancestors did and how they went about hunting. And on top of that, how important hunting was. To create a whistle or flute that was so small and difficult to play tells me that these hunters really did care about what they were doing and it had cultural significance, which then just shows how important hunting was to their culture. But that's my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments. If you like this stuff, make sure to like and follow. And as always, shoot straight and knock something down.